And for my part, I think many technologies show up with loud proclamations of how they will change our lives, while others arrive more quietly, but just as surely revolutionize the way we live.
Not bad.
Two men wake up at 7 in the morning on August 10th. The difference is one wakes up in the year 2017 and the other wakes up in 1717. The latter wakes up chilly to the sound of a rooster crowing from a bed of straw he shares with lots of bed bugs. Neither his nightshirt nor his bedding is terribly clean, and he splashes water on his face from a bowl to help wake up before looking outside to try to guess what the weather will be like today. He, like all his family, and most of the people he knows, is a farmer, so weather matters a lot to him. And any other news will be a long time coming, including that his brother, who lives just a couple towns away, broke his leg a few days back and passed away from an infection. He works from sunup to sundown because he has little machinery, and he would probably work longer if he had access to something better than candles to provide light. Our other man wakes up in 2017 to the sound of an alarm clock. He is not hot or cold because his home has central heating. His pajamas and bedding are quite clean because he has a washer and dryer. He is a bit groggy because he can light his home at the flick of a switch, so he often stays up later than he should. Fortunately, he has hot coffee and a hot shower to help him wake up, and he checks his email while drinking that coffee and listening to the news and weather. He already knows his brother broke his leg a few days back, even though he lives a long distance. And of course he does not die from an infection. He is just at home bored and probably would welcome a phone call. These are two very different lives. They are separated by 3 centuries, a dozen generations, and a slew of inventions, both major and minor. Those inventions, major and minor, have altered our civilization profoundly during that time. Our topic for today, however, is not those inventions, but rather the ones emerging nowadays that will change our lives once more, many of which get little notice in the news. Even those emerging technologies that get reported with much pomp and hype often bypass a lot of the simple yet drastic changes they will bring to how we go about our normal day. This was a topic picked by a poll of the channel supporters on Patreon, and it's a great topic, but one that was surprisingly hard to describe. A survey of technologies that don't get talked about a lot, but will change the world we live in, requires introducing those technologies and explaining the potential of them. The trick is that technologies that don't get a lot of fanfare
Override token found.
Their value and applications are not too obvious. Fundamentally, technology is about making our lives better, safer, and more convenient. To talk about the impact technology will have on our lives, we need to go deeper than just what technology does, like how a fusion reactor makes electricity cheaper and renewable, an obvious benefit, but also how it alters our day-to-day life. Cheaper electricity is awesome. An energy source that doesn't run out or cause environmental problems is awesome, but it is easy to overlook all the other benefits that come along with them. We once devoted an entire episode to just that one technology back in the early days of the channel. Today, we need to cover several such technologies. So to do this, we will walk through a day in the life of 2 people, Sam, who lives nowadays in the year 2017, and Hannah, who lives just a few generations from now in 2077. Sam wakes up, hits the snooze on the alarm clock, then wakes up again 5 minutes later and grumbles as he gets out of bed. He gets the coffee maker started, then heads into the bathroom to shower, shave, and brush his teeth. Unlike most of his ancestors, he has all of his teeth, though some are fillings or caps. He drinks coffee and has a bowl of cereal, checks the news, dresses, and plots out his day. So Sam gets in his car, and unlike his grandfather, he can remotely start the car before heading out, so the vehicle is all warmed up when he gets in. He stops for gas before getting on the freeway and spends maybe 5 minutes pumping it. He does not need to speak to anyone though. It is 2017, not 1987, so he just slips his debit card into the machine rather than going inside to wait in line for a cashier. He doesn't need to grab another coffee either, because large thermos cups are cheap and easily available. When he gets back in the car, he has a phone message from his boss saying not to come home to the office. Everyone is going to a meeting hall, and here is the address. Sam's company makes software, and he is going to go demo that software this morning to a company in that area. He's got it on his laptop and keeps a projector in the trunk. They'll tweak the usual presentation and email it to him with some notes on the prospective customer. He doesn't recognize the address, but that is what GPS is for. So he gets on the road and almost reel in someone while trying to read those notes, but arrives at his destination and gives the presentation. Thankfully, they seem happy with the product. He doesn't know the area well, but searches the internet for a good restaurant for lunch, then heads back to the office, gives his boss a report on how it went, and they spend some time strategizing how to close the deal. It's been a bit of a stressful day, so he goes and gets a drink after work. Just one though, because he needs to drive. He then goes to the grocery store, and thankfully, he remembered to put his list on his phone so he doesn't forget anything. He heads home, microwaves some dinner, and settles in to watch some TV and play a video game to finish unwinding. His son
Interfacing with system node. Hold this position. Analyzing system.
Sam's day is a fairly
Over there!
System intrusion detected. Neutralizing.
Fuck. Go for the eyes! Huh?
Encryption neutralized. Hold successful. Data extracted.
She does not own a
3
smartphone.
override tokens
She has a
found.
supercomputer in her wristwatch.
Advance to
and
next
some
system
thin
node
contact
and
lenses,
take it.
and a tiny implanted speaker by her ear that feed her information instead. Lots of her friends have no wristwatch or contact lenses either, just stuff wired into their brains more directly. But she's a bit of a traditionalist. She's not groggy because every day she eats a couple of capsules, the same way we might take a multivitamin or allergy medicine. They are gel capsules that dissolve into lots of tiny pills, which in turn can be sent a signal to release their contents, or simply let them pass through the system unused. Some of those micro pills contain things like melatonin to help her get to sleep, or others to help her wake up. There's no alarm clock on the nightstand next to her bed. Instead, a little while before she wakes up, those medications get triggered to help her transition comfortably to wakefulness, and her ear speaker starts to play music. The lights in the room turn on too, and grow brighter. She doesn't start the coffee maker, because all the smart electronic shadows that follow her around made a good guess she'd want some, and some toast, and delivered those to her nightstand instead. She does not brush her teeth in favor of putting in something like a mouth guard that she just bites down on, and it goes to work brushing and flossing in a very precise and guided way, then relays that data to her dentist's computer, which analyzes and collates it to see if she needs an appointment. She knows what cavities and fillings are, because she heard about them in a history book, along with smallpox. Normally, Hannah would not actually go into work, because she mostly works from home. She does need to go in sometimes, though, so she does find it worth
Override
to have a
token
car
found.
rather than just summon an automated taxi. She tells her vehicle to start while being dressed, and feels a little chilly as she steps outside. But her clothing is smart too, with lots of small machinery and micro-sized solar panels, and batteries and wireless energy receivers in it, so it instantly starts warming her up on her walk to the car, which is short because it drives itself up to her doorstep and opens the door for her. She She tells it to take her to walk, and she sips some coffee and reviews her notes and correspondence while it drives. She walks through lunch and orders whatever she likes for drone delivery. She doesn't even know where she ordered it from, or that it came from two different places that seamlessly coordinated their delivery to be simultaneous. After work, she goes to a pub and decides to stick around for a second drink because she isn't driving and does not need to go to the grocery store. She just gets a note from her smart house requesting permission to buy things she's low on and asking if she wants anything else. She scans the list, adds some ice cream to it, and says yes, all the while chatting with a random stranger at the bar. Neither of them ever gave their names, since they are just used to seeing someone's name pop up in their vision whenever they look at a person's face, and their various electronic shadows detect the mental equivalent of curiosity. She heads home and talks to her dad Ted along the way. He appears to be sitting in the car with her, with every sight and sound seeming to come from someone physically there, though her preferences are said to always give a certain halo and translucency to such folks so she doesn't forget they aren't actually present. He's entirely digital though. Her dad Ted is not there and not sitting, and from his perspective, his daughter is walking alongside him while he plays golf half a planet away. He remembers when the software for this was a lot less seamless and would show a video window of their face, and when you used to have to remember to take your phone with you, you had to mess around trying to get charging cables into ports. He hasn't plugged anything in for a long time, and Hannah doesn't even remember doing so, because for her whole life, everything has just been wireless. Energy is transmitted to small devices by magnetic induction, or runs off stored energy in tiny, high-energy density batteries that charge very quickly, and gets power off micro-sized solar panels in one's clothing, or by leeching a little energy off every swing of the arm or leg. She doesn't think about it much, but often it's a little harder for her to move an arm or leg when her electronic shadows think she needs some exercise, and devote that extra energy into the grid, or rent some of the processors in her clothes or bracelets out for cloud processing, signal boosting, and so on.
What's that?
Hannah walks her father and grandfather.
It's all getting so dark.
She carries any equipment around for presentations because she rarely does them in person, and when she does, she can just grab the files off the cloud and share them right to her audience. And the interface is so smooth and mostly thought or gesture controlled that she can shuffle through dozens of charts or images in real time and send them, or even make new ones as needed. Indeed, her audience can usually alter parameters of a given chart without even having to ask her. They just say they want the chart they're seeing projected over 5 years, not 3, as she showed them, and it does. When she gets home, she has dinner with her wife, who is off at college, but is actually in the house, in the flesh, right now, because he just attends lectures by watching them, and he asks his professors questions by calling during office hours, which are all day, every day. Dozens of professors around
Override token
not
found.
only teach that course,
Over there.
and his study group for doing homework is likewise spread all over the planet. An individual course might be taught by many different people, and he just finds the lecturer whose style he prefers and watches those, but it's not live, so he needs someone else to ask questions. Hannah doesn't ask him about his grades because he doesn't get them. He finishes a class when he knows the material, be it a day or 2 years, and he never takes tests either because the folks who designed the course also designed tens of thousands of questions or other progress that get injected from time to time in the course. When he's nailing them 9 times out of 10, it moves on to more advanced stuff, or tells him he has proficiency, and that gets recorded in his file.
Hey, what's
Hannah does not need a second mortgage on her house to pay for his tuition and lodging, because paying a couple dozen different professors to prepare an instructional segment on a topic everyone around the planet can pick and choose from, and that paying one professor to stand in a room
Over there.
repeating the same lecture once a semester to students that may or may not be receptive to his
Over there.
presentation style, miss a class and fall behind. There is no class to fall behind on, just subjects, and the ability to assess with solid accuracy how knowledgeable an individual person is at any time on that subject. So Hannah doesn't have much trouble falling asleep because she isn't too stressed out by life. and her personal health model can send in a signal to
Override
some of the
token
pills left in her
found.
system to dissolve or tell her how much of something to take if she needs a hand getting to sleep. What is interesting about Sam and Hannah's lives is that they both live in a pretty automated and high-tech civilization. We spend a lot of time on this channel talking about futures in Hannah's era, or even centuries further ahead, and we tend to focus on big things: new spaceships, new energy sources, giant constructs we could build around our own star, or other stars and the ships that will get you there. Not today though. For today it does not matter that Ted was actually playing golf in a rotating habitat orbiting the Earth, complaining about how the spin throws off his normal swing. We care that his golf partner was actually lying down at home on his bed, playing with him in virtual reality, and that he, Ted, and Hannah were thousands of kilometers apart, but all felt like they were in the same environment chatting, even though they were not in the same place and quite possibly all saw different environments. We don't care that they have rocket ships with big fusion-powered drives that can get to Mars in a week. They have cars they can sleep in, fully relaxed in the knowledge that it can drive through a blizzard without a risk of accident. If it somehow happened, a dozen safety systems, airbags, and
Check
restraints,
this out.
the vehicle would even hit the target.
Huh?
And that if somehow even that wasn't enough, an
Coordination.
automated ambulance
Gotta
would
get
proceed in moments to spot controlled accident.
Jumbo size.
And where all the injuries.
Yeah.
We also don't care that they and our son can do classes online. We already have ever-improving technology allowing that. We care about the automated, interactive aspects of that, something called affective computing, or computers and systems that can recognize, interpret, process, or simulate human body language and effects. Fundamentally, it is this sort of technology that holds the strongest potential.
Interfacing with system node. Hold this position. Analyzing system. Static encryption. Neutralizing. Encryption neutralized. Advancing to next system layer. Analyzing system.
Is a big portal to making some simulations, but if you can't get past
Check this out.
Encryption neutralized. Hold successful. Data extracted.
It's like the
4
automatic
override
translator
tokens
that doesn't
found.
just hear what someone said in another
Advance to
language
next
and
system
translate
node
it
and
word
take
for
it.
word, but instead can convert all the idioms and expressions into another language and its own idioms and expressions. It will be even cooler if one day we can just download knowledge and skills into your head, like in the film The Matrix, where they upload for a few seconds, and suddenly that person knows martial arts.
I know Kung Fu.
In the absence of that, while we can only use our eyes and ears to input data, which are limited to their format and bandwidth, being able to maximize those by tailoring them to the individual could massively boost how well and quickly powerfully alter our day-to-day life
Override
than the
token
ability to
found.
absorb skills and knowledge quicker than we do now. Even many of our conveniences come from simply making a task so easy you don't have to invest any time into learning it. A civilization where everyone is a jack of all trades and an expert at a few is fundamentally different from ours. We didn't focus on cool new power production methods like fusion today. We focused on ways to conveniently get power, wireless energy transmission by magnetic induction or smaller and better batteries and solar panels, or harvesting energy from the person, leeching just a little energy away from every motion, maybe even putting devices in the body that could steal a bit of energy from your own food to transmit it to devices in you or on you. I never really said how Hannah's car operates, that it is an electric vehicle ultimately powered by some big fusion reactor somewhere, because Hannah doesn't think about it. She knows the batteries in her vehicle replaced a combustion engine when batteries finally got
Override
small
token
enough and
found.
fast charging enough to remove the inconvenience of recharging compared to refueling. But she just doesn't think about it when you or I spend much time thinking about our light bulbs or light switches, or what makes our refrigerator cold, even though those devices changed our lives profoundly. We are not too interested in the super powerful classic or quantum computer that could simultaneously play every human being at chess and beat them all, or even the social media network that can help you find other people in your area that enjoy chess. We are interested in the hardware and software that notices you like playing chess and can let you know the person you are talking to does as well, and likes gardening like you do, but does not share your joy of cooking or parachuting off kilometer-tall buildings. Predicting the future of technology is always a hit-and-miss game. Often, in hindsight, stuff is obvious, but can't be predicted in advance, something we call a black swan and have discussed before. Some technology and its impact is easy enough to predict, but what makes them inaccurate in most cases is all those tiny secondary advantages and changes, and those tend to focus on human desire and convenience. It's not that hard to predict faster computers, the internet, satellites, or cell phones. What's hard to predict is people using those to post a picture of what they ate for lunch. What they do, you can imagine that many restaurants will advertise online and show photos of the menu. It will seem obvious in hindsight that someone is going to make a piece of software that can look at that image and make some smart guesses about its nutritional value and calorie count. It will seem obvious in hindsight that as we get more effective computing, able to monitor your reactions, your computer will get better at showing you bits of stuff on your social media newsfeed that you will enjoy.
Override
and
token
advertisers
found.
will be able to hit you with an ad
Override
showing
token
a picture of a
found.
pizza with the toppings you like when you are just getting a little hungry and haven't had pizza recently. And tomorrow, you'll get shown sandwiches instead. It's predictable that 3D printers and fast, cheap delivery might put a dent in classic retail shopping. It's predictable that automated vehicles, not needing expensive drivers, will make it much cheaper to deliver things or take a taxi, so that fewer people might own individual vehicles. It is less predictable that these might start including a casual chat function that notices two strangers sharing a vehicle are uncomfortable and bored and can drop an icebreaker so they can talk to
Override
each other.
token found.
It's less predictable that some software company will make a fortune designing algorithms for that, which can seamlessly drop a targeted advertisement in there where the automated driver can say that it noticed you're hungry and like Italian food, and there's a great bistro just up ahead. Automated vehicles, wireless energy transmission, effective computing that can listen directly to your thoughts are all technologies that are emerging and do tend to get a fair amount of attention in the media. However, it is very easy for us to miss a lot of those secondary applications that can quietly sneak in there to revolutionize our lives just as much as landing on the moon did, or going to Mars will. Next week, we will be starting up a new series looking at just that. We spent a lot of time recently in the Upward Bound series discussing how to get off the planet, and in the new Outward Bound series, we will be visiting some other planets and
It's a
moons
little
and
lonely
talk
out
about
here.
how to get there and what to do when you arrive. to start with colonizing Mars.
Darn it!
For a lot of that and other out, make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you enjoyed this episode, hit the
Override
like
token
and share
found.
with others. And let me give a thanks to the folks who support this channel on Patreon and selected this topic as the winner for the month. Until next time, thanks for watching and have a great week.
Oh, goodness. Oh crap, I really need to get the attack list done. Going on. Huh? I'm really glad they let some of us go past. Oh, I heard that right. When I grow up, I want to be a tuner. I just realized I don't have feet either. Why not though? Why the long face, he said. What a jerk. Doot. Oh, shoot! Oh, darn it!
Interfacing with system node. Hold this position. Analyzing system.
What's that? Over there.
Static encryption detected. Neutralized. Encryption neutralized. Advancing to next system layer. Analyzing system.
Stick a fork in me. Yeah, I'm done.
Hardened encryption detected. Neutralized. Encryption neutralized. Advancing to next system layer. Analyzing system.